Hello everyone, how are you all? Today again we are here to discuss the topic of PYQ which came in 2024. So we are going to discuss today atmosphere. So as you all know that what is atmosphere, and basically if in layman term we say that atmosphere is a blanket of gases or it is surrounding the whole earth. Now the question comes in our mind that this is a layman term, but what about the definition which a atmosphere you can say require? So you can say atmosphere is a blanket of gases, dust particle and particulate matter which surrounds the earth from 0 kilometer to thousands of kilometers to a zone characterized by magnetic field, ionized particles, and the most important thing is that it is confined to the earth's surface due to its gravity. So you can see that the atmosphere is consisting of water vapor, dust particle, particulate matter, all these things, as you can see in this image, that our earth, and around it the blanket of gases is considered as atmosphere. The definition which I just told you is given over here, that you can read out. Atmosphere is a thick gaseous envelope which surrounds the earth's surface from 0 kilometer to thousands of kilometers, which include the mixture of gases, dust particles, water vapor, which is attached to the earth into the influence of gravity. So as we saw that the atmosphere is having basically the dust particle and the mixture of gases. So it might be having the composition of gases, in which amount the gases are present. Then after, as it is extending from surface to thousands of kilometers, so it must have a structure like different layers of atmosphere: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Every layer has got its own peculiar characteristics. So we are going to deal the atmosphere in two sections mainly. One is the composition and the second one is the structure. Now if we talk about the composition of atmosphere, the maximum gas present in our atmosphere is nitrogen, which is having the percentage of 78.084, means the maximum amount of gas present. Then after, it is succeeded by oxygen, that is 20.947. Now the question comes in your mind, sir, that from childhood or during our school time we have learned that the percentage of nitrogen is 78 and oxygen 21, and here you are telling 0.84, 947 and 20. So basically the exact percentage is this. Now the 71% and 78 and 21. So we know in mathematics, if the number increases more than 5 after point, we jump to the next one, and if it is less than 5, we remain to the previous one. So that is the aggregate part. But the question comes in our mind, it will be always aggregate, it's not necessary. So we will see the exact percentage. If it is going to come exact, then also you will be able to answer, and if it is going to be aggregate, then also, means prepare for the worst, not for the bad. Now after oxygen, argon is there 0.934, and then after CO2, the most burning topic in you can say on earth, and recently in Baku also, or any climate change summit, COP like COP29 or 28, the main aspect of discussion is the carbon emission, either trading or cutting down the carbon emission, or you can say controlling the carbon emission. And the present percentage of CO2 is 0.039, or somewhere you are going to see it as 0.040. In previous data, you will find 0.0314, 033, then after 036, and presently it has become 039. Now the question comes, as the carbon dioxide is increasing in our atmosphere, why we are so much concerned about that? So as because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Now the question comes in our mind, what is greenhouse gas and Why it is so important? Why it is included in every discussion? So we will discuss it after the composition, when we will see after CO2 there is neon, that is 0.0018, then after helium 0.0005, methane 0.0002. Again methane is also a greenhouse gas. After methane there is xenon and krypton, and krypton is 0.00011. Then after hydrogen 0.4 times 0.5, then xenon 0.5 times 0.87. These are the percentage of the gases which are fixed in nature except CO2 minded. If the carbon emission is going to increase, then the CO2 amount will increase in our atmosphere. If the emission is going to be cut down, automatically the carbon dioxide level will decrease. After that, there is a set of gases which are basically temporary, or you can say variable in nature, in which water vapor is there, which ranges between 0 to 4%. Means sometime it will be 0 and sometime it will reach to maximum 4 season to season. Like during rainy season, summer season, as we see the humidity in the atmosphere or the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere you can say increases, and during the winter season the vapor amount decreases. Now the question comes, why? What are the factors and why we are considering water vapor as an important gas? Because it has also got an, you can say, important characteristic, and that is greenhouse gas. Then after ozone, the exact percentage is not known to us, as because ozone is a variable gas. Variable gas means first thing, ozone is not found in free state in our atmosphere, rather it is formed with the help of O2 plus O in the presence of ultraviolet rays under minus 80 degrees Celsius temperature, gives O3 and again ultraviolet. This means ultraviolet used to play the role of a catalyst, means it only helps in taking place of reaction, but not, you can say, is not included in reaction, means gives a platform for reaction. And after the formation of ozone, within half an hour maximum, it used to get split. That's why the percentage is not there, but in some books you will find 0.6 times 0.4. So that can be also, and this is also a greenhouse gas. Then after nitrous oxide, that is N2O, and CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. Both are again variable, and the most important thing that they are artificial in nature. CFC has been banned already after the Montreal Protocol, as you all know, which took place in 1987, and only as because CFC is somehow, or you can say, a prominent gas which is helping in depletion of ozone layer. Now what is ozone hole, how the CFC is responsible for breaking the ozone molecules, all these things we will discuss them. So both are also the, you can say, variable gas and greenhouse gas. So this is the percentage. Now the question comes in your mind, which type of questions they will ask? So first, on the basis of percentage or availability in the atmosphere, they can ask you the ascending and the descending arrangement, or the variable and the permanent gases. Then after, the greenhouse gas and non-greenhouse gas. Like suppose the question comes, which of the following gases are greenhouse gases? So you will get the two parts. In one option, they are going to get CO2, CH4, water vapor and ozone. On the other hand, N2O and CFC. Now the question comes, with which option you will go, or to whom you are going to give the priority. So the most important thing is that you will give the priority to the gases which are present naturally, means in anyhow we can't make them nil. Like if we say CO2, so if we stop the burning of fossil fuels also, or any burning activity, then also we can't stop the addition of CO2 in the atmosphere. Why? Because the CO2 is also added in the atmosphere through the process of respiration, as we all know. So basically CO2 can't be cut down, or you can say it can't be made completely zero. It is you can say important for the flora, means because flora means the plants used to take the CO2 and gives the oxygen. So if CO2 will be not there, then automatically the plants are going to die. When they will die, they can't convert the CO2 into O2, and when O2 will be not there, so we can't also inhale. So basically CO2, you can go methane. Basically we know that methane is released in the atmosphere due to the decay and decomposition of biotic matter. So we can't stop the, you can say, deterioration or the decay of biotic substances by, you can say, flora or fauna. Second thing, it is released from swamps also. So methane can't also be stopped naturally, because the natural swamps, mangroves, the decay of plants and animals, they will take place, and the addition of methane will be done in the atmosphere. But the human activities also add the methane, like the paddy fields, we know. Then after, water vapor. We can't stop the sun rays for in coming to the earth's surface, and if the sun rays will stop, what will happen? Basically the earth will go in ice age. So water vapor also can't be stopped in the addition, and O3, which protects us from ultraviolet rays. So basically the CO2, CH4, water vapor and ozone are the primary greenhouse gas, or their mode of existence is natural. On the other hand, artificial, that is N2O and CFC, we can completely ban or make them zero, as because they are the result of anthropogenic activities. So primary and secondary. So first of all, the, you can say, priority will be given to primary greenhouse gas, then after the secondary greenhouse gas. On the other hand, as we are discussing the CO2 emission, when the CO2 emission will increase, or basically as it is increasing due to the human activities, let me tell you why we are concerned about CO2 emission. And the most important thing is that why in every climate change convention or climatic convention, the CO2 is the alarming part, because due to the increase in the CO2 percentage, the average temperature of earth has increased by near about 2 degrees Celsius. Earlier it was 14 degree, and presently the earth's temperature, average temperature, is 16 degree. Exact if we talk, according to the United Nations data, the present increase of temperature of earth is basically near about 1.6 degrees Celsius. Now we are moving to the greenhouse effect, and why the gases are considered as greenhouse gases. As because we know, and we have studied earlier also, that gases are colorless and odorless by the time they are not in burning state. So why we are considering them as greenhouse gas? So as because they give a greenhouse effect. Now the question comes in our mind that what is greenhouse effect? So let me tell you. Greenhouse effect is a concept of, you can say, or practice of cold places where the temperature is very low, and there what we used to do, we used to construct the glass houses, and the glass houses, what they do, they permit the incoming radiation to come inside the system, because they are in the form of short wave radiation. Now after that, when they increase, the most important thing, the energy is absorbed by the objects in the glass house, and when they radiate it in the form of long wave, the glass stops them, or you can say that it does not allow them to move outside, means it acts as an insulator, which results into the increase in the temperature of inside in comparison to outside. And this trapping of energy only within the system is considered as greenhouse effect. Here if we say trapping of some amount of solar energy, we can say insolation, by the gases within the Earth's atmosphere is considered as greenhouse effect. Means the effect which is being, you can say, done by the gases, that effect is only done by the gases in the atmosphere. Now the question comes in our mind that they are trapping the energy, but still the question remains unsolved, or you can say unanswered, that why they are known as greenhouse gas. Why? So we constructed the glass house, and the main purpose of glass house was, students, to increase the temperature. Now why increase the temperature? So as because we know the cold places, or let me take to your house, there is a refrigerator in your house, and in refrigerator or fridge we used to keep the vegetables and foods and keep the temperature of that refrigerator near about 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. Now the question comes, why we keep that? So the answer is to prevent them from deteriorating or spoiling. Means on 8 to 10 degrees Celsius temperature, we are preventing the birth or the germination of microorganisms in those foods, which means the places on earth which are cold enough and having the temperature of less than 8 degree, or the places which are having the temperature near about 0 degree, they are the natural refrigerators, and there the germination of seeds can't take place as because the temperature is very low. So what the persons residing there do, they construct the glass house. Now after the construction of glass house, the temperature within the glass house increases, which gives the favorable condition for the seeds to germinate. Now when seeds will germinate, they will become plant. And what is the color of plant? Green. This means the house by which the effect of greenery came is considered as greenhouse effect, and that effect only when these gases provide in the Earth's atmosphere, means these gases are giving us the favorable conditions for the germination of life, means they are maintaining the Earth's temperature to that much extent, or giving the Earth's atmosphere that much warmth which can support life on Earth. Means they are one of the important factors, the greenhouse gases, which are providing the favorable conditions for life on Earth. Now the gases which provide the greenery effect on Earth are considered as greenhouse gas. This means the name greenhouse gas to these gases has been given on the basis of their property rather than on the basis of their color. That's why they are known as greenhouse gases. Means they are very important to us. So why we are focusing on, or you can say giving emphasis on decreasing CO2? It is important to us. Yes, it is important. But as you know one phrase, excessiveness of anything is very harmful. Means the perfect amount of greenhouse gases are able to keep the Earth's atmosphere that much hot and warmer so that the life can be supported. But if their amount will increase, means the trapping of energy will increase, and when the trapping of energy will increase, the global temperature will increase. Means if we are not going to keep the greenhouse gases in the perfect limit, the heating of the Earth's atmosphere will increase, and that only leads to the process of global warming. Means if they are not going to be in a perfect percentage, they will harm us instead of, you can say, instead of helping the life on earth. And in layman term, you have seen the greenhouse effect also, like you have seen the car which is parked in the parking in broad day sunlight, and when we park the car, we used to lock that. So the glasses of the car, they permits the insolation. Now mind it, insolation means the incoming solar radiation, which is given the single term also. They permit the insolation to enter in the car, and when the objects present in the car, you can say, absorb the energy, and when they radiate out in the form of long wave radiation, what the you can say glasses do, they stops them from going outside. That's why after some time when you go and open the car and sit there, what happens, suddenly you feel that the temperature within the car is more enough in comparison to outside, and this trapping of energy within the car is only considered as greenhouse effect. You have experienced earlier also, and if you have not, experience it in the coming days. Now, the excessive trapping of energy within the Earth's atmosphere is considered as global warming, which I just discussed right now. As you can say, amount of solar energy by the gases within the Earth's atmosphere is known as global warming. Means earlier the Earth was like this, now the Earth has started becoming like this, as you all can feel also. Like, if I am not wrong, the coming generations will use one sentence that there was a winter season on earth, or there used to be a winter season on earth. Am I right? Yes. Like presently we are sitting in November and December, and basically if you remember in your childhood, the winter season starts from October. Means we started wearing the you can say winter season clothes from October or September end. But today in the, you can say, November end or December also, you are sleeping with fan basically. So in coming time, the winter season will get completely wiped out. And why it is so? Due to the excessive trapping of solar energy. Now when the global warming will happen, the question comes in our mind, what are the effects which are going to take place? So the first effect will be the increase in average temperature of Earth. Now when the average temperature of Earth will increase, and the most important thing, how we are you can say how we are able to know that the temperature of Earth is increasing. So I have got some data. As you can see, this is the data given by simply NOAA data, climate change, that is the US government, you can say, agency, and warming over past 30 years is much faster than the long term. So here two, you can say, images are given. One is 1901 to 2023. Okay, this is the average warming of the Earth. And if you notice, from 1994 to 2023, means since last 30 years, see how much the temperature of Earth has increased. And as the temperature of Earth is increasing, this is shown by the data. As you can say, it's official. 2023 was the world's warmest year on record between 1850 to 2023. Now, as you can notice, between 1991 to 2020 average temperature. In 2023, the average temperature of Earth 1976 and the average temperature of Earth has gone to near about 2 degree Fahrenheit, means 1.6 degrees Celsius, and this is the warming of the Earth. Now the question comes, why it is? So as because of the CO2 emission. Now the question comes, why we are concerned about the CO2 emission? So CO2 is considered as the most prominent greenhouse gas because along with the terrestrial radiation, it is able to absorb some amount of insolation also, and the average lifespan of CO2 in atmosphere is near about for 30 to 40 years. Means the CO2 molecule which is going to be released in 2024 will remain in atmosphere till 2060. Means the time span of CO2 in gaseous form or carbon in gaseous form is more. The absorbing capacity is more, and the most important thing, it is permanent in nature. So the gas which will be permanent in nature will affect more, and the human activities which are going on, especially the development part, if you have noticed, like the burning of fossil fuel, because present date also the technology has not become that much that we can fulfill our all the energy needs by the non-conventional sources or the renewable energy like the tidal power, wind power, hydel power. So basically maximum of the energy today also is being fulfilled by the burning of coal, that is thermal energy. Now when thermal energy, coal will be burned for in industries or for the production of electricity, so basically that CO2 emission will increase. Now when the average temperature of Earth will increase, automatically the cryosphere of Earth, means the polar regions and the glaciers will start melting, and I use the term cryosphere. Basically Earth has got, you can say, 6 spheres. If we divide them precisely, lithosphere means the rock sphere, solid surface of the Earth. Hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere. 4 spheres are common. Magnetosphere, the magnetic field, and the cryosphere over lithosphere. Now the question comes, what is cryosphere? So if you have heard about cryogenic seed banks, cryo means sleeping state, and the polar regions and the glacial regions of the Earth are considered as cryosphere, means they are cold enough to keep the life over there in sleeping mode. And now when the cryosphere will start melting, the harmful bacteria and the viruses which are trapped into that particular area will come out in the atmosphere, and they are good for Earth or favorable for Earth. It's not necessary. They can be hazardous also, and this is a natural process. Nature has kept them in sleeping mode. Why? There must be some reason, because any work of nature has got a perfect reason. Without any reason, nature does nothing. And the most important thing is that they might be harmful for the existing life on Earth. That's why the nature has just frozen them. But due to our activities, the cryosphere is melting, and the prison in which they are kept, that is breaking down. When that prison will break down, those notorious things, or you can say life, bacteria, viruses will come out, and nature has got a perfect law, survival for fittest. What they will do, they will increase their population, they will start dominating in the ecosystem. Now the present life form is not aware about them, familiar about them. So what will happen? Either they will do good effects or either they will give bad effects. But the chances is they will give more bad effect rather than the good effect. And if we see the melting of polar ice, you can see in 1978 the data has been provided, the Arctic sea ice extent between 1979 to 2022. As you can see, it is decreasing by every year simply, and the difference from average, now we can see this is the average part, so it is coming down with the coming years, and presently 2022 it is less than average, minus 20%, means the thickness of Arctic ice is becoming less, which is an alarming issue. Now the question comes, why? Basically, the cryosphere are also responsible for holding the water. Now when the water will melt, the fresh water will be added in the oceans of Earth. When the fresh water will be added, automatically the temperature, the salinity of the oceans are going to be affected, they will change. And as we all know, one part of the oceans is the ocean currents, and the ocean currents are responsible for regulating temperature on Earth, and the factors which are responsible for the movement of ocean currents, they have got the two prominent factors, that is the salinity and the temperature. Means due to salinity difference and temperature difference, they are able to redistribute the temperature. But due to melting of polar ice, when the fresh water will be added in the oceans, what will happen? The salinity will change, their temperature will change, and this might lead to reversal of ocean currents, their directions. And when their direction will change, their property will change, and this can lead to change in the temperature belts of the Earth. And this part has been explained in a movie which is depicted a very, you can say, important sections of the global warming. You can refer that movie, and that is Day After Tomorrow. It came in 2006. When you will see that movie, initially, means in the first half of the movie, what you will notice that the oceanographers and the meteorologists are very much, you can say, afraid and concerned. They are very much concerned about the increasing global temperature and the melting of polar ice, because the melting of polar ice is adding a huge flux of fresh water in the oceans, which is resulting into temperature and salinity change of oceans, and that resulting into change in the ocean current circulation, and that ocean current circulation change is resulting into adverse weather conditions change. So this will lead to basically a bad effect on over Earth. Again, the contributors to global sea level rise, you can see 1993 to 2018, the sea level has increases by near about 10 centimeters since, you can say, 20 years, and the thermal expansion, as you can say, added water, mostly the melted water, the global sea level from satellite, as we can see, 0 to 10 centimeters, near about 10 centimeters increment has took place, and thermal expansion also. When the water will be heated, the molecules are going to expand, and when they will expand, automatically the level will rise. Then after, the increase in the sea level, or basically the melting of global polar ice will lead into rise of sea level. And when the rise of sea level will happen, this is the data, as you can see, the NOAA data, global mean sea level seasonal signals removed, trend 3 to 4 mm per year. And here you can see it has increased to near about the 60 mm. Then after sea level change, what will happen? The coastal areas and the islands will decrease, and the index you are getting, the darker color are showing that these areas are going to experience more than 20 centimeter of increase in sea level. And here you can see the Pacific Ocean, Northern Pacific Ocean, then after the Western Pacific Ocean near Indonesia, then after the Southern Ocean, the Southern Atlantic, Northern Atlantic, the coast of eastern coast of North America, then after the Indian Ocean you can see the Bay of Bengal and the Southern Indian Ocean, all are going to experience high level sea rise, and this will lead to decrease in the land area, means the submergence of coastal areas and island groups. In this image, as you can see, earlier the coastal area was still here, but presently the Huangtan Island has remained this much, means rest of the area which was above sea level, due to increase in sea level, the area has been flooded and it has submerged. And according to the data of NOAA data, or you can see WMO data, World Meteorological Organization, in coming decade, the sea level of Earth is going to increase near about 1.5 meter, and presently we are having 71% of land and 29% of earth. Minded, the data has changed, 70-30, 71-29. In coming time decade, only 20% of the land will remain, and the 10% which was earlier above sea level will get submerged. That's why, if you have noticed, we humans are planning for underwater cities, underwater tunnels, underwater, you can say, societies. Why we are so curious and in hurry of making or surviving under the sea or underwater cities? As because in coming days, basically the land part will get submerged. Now we have not got that much technological advancement that we can go and settle down on moon or Mars. Means still our technology is not that much. And basically, if the technology will be there, the conditions over there are not favorable for survival of humans. Mind it, especially humans, not the life. We are not concerned about the life on earth. Why? Because we are destroying the life on earth. And if you have noticed, the extinction rate of nature has been accelerated. The extinction period of nature, which used to be millions and thousands of years, has decreased to hundreds of years. Means the humans are responsible for extinction of species on earth, and when the extinction of species will take place, automatically the ecological disbalance, the ecosystem disbalance, and the disbalance in the food chain and food pyramid will happen. So we are concerned about our needs, and humans are greedy in nature, as you all know. We don't fulfill our needs, but basically we are fulfilling our greed. And we humans are surviving on earth on the cost of 1,000 species. Now tell me, the nature is going to sacrifice thousands of species for the sake of one species, or will sacrifice one for the sake of thousands? So basically it is going to sacrifice one, like we sacrifice one terrorist which is human for the, you can say, sake of 100 peoples. Like killing of human is a punishable offense. If you will kill a common man, you are going to be convicted. But if you are going to kill a terrorist, you will be awarded. He is also human. So why you are being awarded? Because if you have not killed him, he might have killed hundreds. So to, you can say, protect 100, you have to kill one. Here also, if nature has to protect thousands of species, nature has to kill one species, and that one species are humans. That's why we humans are going eco-friendly. We are saying be eco-friendly, live in harmony with nature, because if we will not respect the nature and its species, nature is not going to respect us. This is a law, tit for tat. Now when the submergence of area will be done, you can see here are the index. The areas with red dot are bigger dot are giving you extreme level of threat, then after high and medium. So you can see Mekong or the Bay of Bengal part, Bangladesh, because it is merely 0.9 meter above sea level. Then after the Suez Canal area, the Mississippian area, all these are very vulnerable to the sea level rise. Then after, if we see the future map of India, as you can notice, the whole area of Bangladesh and the Indo-Gangetic plain has flooded. Then after, the coastal areas has decreased, the Gujarat area has been flooded, the Pakistan area, means when the sea level will rise by 1 meter or 1.5 meter, this will become the original map of India, means the future map of Indian subcontinent. Now if you can notice, India is going to have this map in coming future. What will be the map of world? So now what will happen to the sea level rise? Impact on beach morphology will happen. Every area will get submerged. Economic consideration: submerged breakwater versus immersed breakwater. Then after, impact on hydrodynamics, means simply you can say the hydrological cycle. Then after, the another effect will happen, impact on coastal tourism and recreational facilities. Basically the tourism will be affected, the economic activity will be affected, water quality will decrease, the navigational risk will happen. All these are going to happen. And the ecology, basically the terrestrial part, when it will get submerged, those who are having the, you can say, capability of surviving on fresh water or on terrestrial part, that area will get submerged. So the marine area will increase. So the marine organisms area increase and the terrestrial organism area decrease. So the decrease in the terrestrial species also, ecosystem also, all this will happen. Then after, decrease in land area of earth. As you can see, this much land area will be left on earth after the global warming and the sea level rise. Means only this area will be available for the humans. Now you can notice that with the time the population of humans are increasing. Right now we have crossed the 8 billion mark. Now when we have crossed the 8 billion mark, means we are going to cross the 9 billion also, because we have controlled the death rates, but we are not able to control the birth rates. So as the birth rate will increase, basically the humans population will increase, and instead of now we are expanding horizontally, we will expand vertically. The law, skyscrapers we will make, the big buildings we will make, but the again question comes, survival for fittest, because the land area will decrease, we are not able to live in the water. So there will be a chaos. Then after, extinction of flora and fauna will take place, because humans will shift. But what about them? Like penguins, their habitat is cold area, they are full of fats, but when the temperature are going to increase, they will not able to survive, they will die. And the recent news, the African penguins, they has been included in the critically endangered list by IUCN in the red data book. And the most important thing is that the polar bears, penguins, all are going to die, and they are also a critical or important part of their ecosystem. And if we see the data, you can see current global extinction risk of different species. So least concern, near threatened, vulnerable, endangered and critically endangered. So as you can see, the bony fish are least vulnerable, gastropods, birds. So the level of threat is increasing with the species size. Bigger the species, less the threat, but the smaller species will have more threat. Now if the smaller will die, automatically the bigger are not going to be survive. Why? Because the smallers are considered to be the producers for the bigger one, means the consumers. When you will study the ecosystem services, you will study there the number of endangered species is rising 7 to 22. As you can see, they are increasing. 7,851 was in, you can say 51, but in 22 it has just increased simply by double, you can say. Now basically what we are noticing, that the amount of mammals are also increasing, fish and others. Then after, the snails, amphibians, insects, birds, reptiles and mammals. Then the loss of biodiversity will take place. As you can see, the loss of biodiversity over the last few centuries. 1800, 0.9 billion, land area converted for human use 7.6%, loss of species minus 1.8, 1900, now the technological advancement in being done, we are encroaching the forest area, and that's why the human nature conflict is also one of the most important thing. As the humans are approaching or entering in the nature, the other organisms are getting interrupted, and nature's law, survival for fittest, and attack is the best defense. So basically they are protecting themselves, and what we are telling, they are attacking on us. We are not saying that we are encroaching in their area. The lion, tiger or other animals, wild animals, they are not coming in your houses, but rather you are going and making your houses in their area. So where they will go, then you are not saying that we have entered in their area and we have constructed our houses in the lap of nature. And when you will sit in the lap of nature, basically, so you will get the slap also. Like when we sit in the lap of mother, mother give us slap when we do the wrong things. So when we will sit in the lap of nature, when we will do wrong deeds, basically the nature will slap us. And what they are doing, and you can see 2000 till minus 13.6, but here till 2100, the current model, 12 billion population, 49.1% of the area has been converted for human use, means near about the half of the earth resources is being used and exploited by a single species for its survival, and in rest half, the other thousands and millions of species are residing. Means this is the complete injustice for nature. Earlier we went on just turning the nature into the human use, and here you can say loss of species in ecosystem and reached to 17%, means near about 1/4 you can say. the loss of a species has took place, and only for the sake of one species. Is it justified and basically good? No. You all are thinking species, and that's why you are going to be a bureaucrat, to think naturally, to think ecologically and live in harmony with nature. Breaking of food chain and food pyramid. Then after, as the temperature of the earth will increase, the amount of forest fire will also increase, because the increase in temperature will lead to the more dryness of the forest, and more dryness of forest will lead to the forest fire, like Amazon fire, American bush fire, Australian bush fire, then after the California fire, then the Uttarakhand fire. As you can see, the fire that are on the earth, the Amazon fire, the Congo Basin fire, the Uttarakhand fire, or Indian subcontinent. Then after, you can see the temperate countries are also catching fire. Why? Because the temperature is increasing and the rate of forest fire has also increased. Yearly sentinel 3 and night times, as you can see, till 2024, the number of fires has increased. Europe, USA, Canada, Russia, China and Australia. As you can see, in 2021, the maximum was in Russia, and in 2024 also, the maximum was in Russia, means the Asian part. So basically, the amount of forest fire is increasing year by year. 2023-24 burned area, anomaly thousands of square kilometer. As you can see, Australia, North America, Australia subtropical grasslands and deserts. Then after, Asia temperate grasslands, savannas and sublands, Asia deserts and xeric sublands, South America and Africa. So basically, the area is increasing and the carbon emission. So carbon emission is also there, because when the forest will burn, automatically the carbon dioxide will be added in the atmosphere. And if we talk about the India, as we are concerned about the Indian forest fire, as you can see, the northeast area, the Chota Nagpur Plateau region are most prone. Then after, the extremely fire prone area, the Uttarakhand area. So those who are having the more temperature and basically the dry type of climate, they will be prone to the forest fires. Then after, the scarcity of fresh water on earth. As we know, when the water will melt down from the glaciers and polar ice, it is going to finally merge into oceans. So the water will become saline and the scarcity of fresh water will be there. Like you have heard about the first drought declared city of the world. It's a long year news. That is the Cape Town. Means army has been deployed for the protection of water. So this much scarcity has happened, and you can see where the earth's water is there. So 96.5 is in oceans, other saline 1% and fresh water is 2.5%. Now if we take the data of 2.5%, 68% is near about the glaciers and the polar ice, groundwater is 30 and surface water is 1.3. Now if we talk about the groundwater also, groundwater has been also been polluted due to the use of chemical fertilizers, as we all know. So it is also toxic. So we can't use that also. Then after, if we talk about the surface, ice and snow 73%, means the glaciers, lakes 20, and then after, the soil moisture 3.5, then the, you can say, swamps 2.5, rivers 0.46, living things 2.2, atmosphere 0.22. Means basically the maximum is in the form of ice and glaciers. So if they will melt down, basically we are not going to have the fresh water. Then after, the 5 facts about the water scarcity. Water scarcity occurs even in the areas where there is plenty of rainfall or fresh water, because it will go in runoff. Then after, water scarcity affects 1 in 3 people on every continent of the globe. Means 1/3 of the population is being affected. Almost 1/5 of the world's population, about 1.2 billion, live in area where the water is physically scarce, means not available. Then after, more than 10% of the people worldwide consume food irrigated by the wastewater that can contain chemicals, disease causing organisms, means out of 110. And then after, if the world's water were put into a gallon jug, the fresh water available for us to use would be equal to about 1 tablespoon. You can think how much fresh water is available for the whole world. So basically it is negligible. That's why we are concerned. And the most important thing, you can see that the climate change and other drivers, global ice sheets, glacial, thermal expansion and land use storage, relative sea level change, mean sea level, extreme sea level events, local and regional subsidence, ocean dynamics, climate variability and geodynamics. Then the sea level change will lead to the drivers of exposure and vulnerability, environmental dimension, human dimension, impact on and risk to land and land use, ecosystem services, people, built environment and human activities, coastal hazards, permanent submergence, coastal flooding, coastal erosion, loss and change of coastal ecosystem, salinization of soil, ground surface water, then after impeded drainage, then the protection is needed, accommodation, retreat, advanced ecosystem based adaptation, practices and tools for enabling social choices, planning should be done, public participation, conflict resolution, discussion analysis, then after enablers and lesson learned. And the most important thing, governance challenges are time horizon and uncertainty. We are making the plans, we are making everything, but how much they are being implemented on ground level, we don't know. Then after the cross scale and cross domain coordinations, equity and social vulnerability, social conflict and complexity, means they are complex in nature and mainly you can say they are not equally distributed. So many problems are there in the context of the global warming also, and the most important thing is that we still today are not able to implement them. Like if you have noticed in Azerbaijan COP29, the ultimate goal was to curb the carbon emission, but again the carbon trading concepts came, and then after the, you can say, green climate fund, basically which was about to be make 5-6 trillion, it just left on 300 billion. And it was earlier 100, and if you notice 100 billion the developed countries was not able to, you can say, manage. How they are going to manage 300? And the most important thing is that only on paper these works are being done, but on ground level not. So there are many aspects among the global warming which we will discuss in the coming lectures over the global warming and all these things. So meet you in the next class with a more interesting topic. Till then, thank you. Have a nice day.